Everyone's heard of it. It's in textbooks, quoted in science papers, even mentioned in documentaries. But where is it? Almost no one knows. This land hides one of the world's largest underground canyons, bred imperial stallions for kings and royalty, and gave Venice the stone and timber that built its ships and palaces and kept the city afloat until today. This is Karst, or Kras in Slovenian. No grand monuments, no world-famous museums, no bucket list icons. And yet, it's one of the most surprising places I've ever explored. Let me show you why. Venice hides a secret almost no one knows. Millions stroll Venice streets, crossing its bridges and admire its palaces, never realizing that the white limestone beneath their feet was quarried right here, in the karst. But Venice didn't just take karst stone, it stripped its forests. That timber built their ships, and countless wooden piles driven into the lagoon still hold Venice above the water today. But karst paid the price. With the trees gone, the bottom wind swept in so fierce it can rip rooftops. But people didn't fight the wind. They turned it into a way to survive in this rugged land. Over centuries, air-drying meat became an art, perfected in quiet villages like this one. At his family-run prosciuttarna, set around a 300-year-old mulberry tree, generations have been curing hams the same way. In naturally ventilated rooms, the aging racks are still turned by hand. Airflow is managed manually, by instinct, just as their ancestors did. The Bora wind moves through these rooms, bringing a unique karst microclimate where the Mediterranean meets the Alps. This slower, more even drying preserves tenderness and deepens flavor. No smoke, no shortcuts, only salt, patience, and climate that shape this land. And the result? A slice of karst itself, with a melt in the mouthfeel, salted by wind, aged by time. And just beyond these hills lies one of the oldest and most beautiful karst villages, carved from the same stone that built Venice. This is Štanjel, over 1,000 years old. This isn't a stage tourist set. It's a quiet, hand-built masterpiece, a living monument to survival. With forests gone, the people built with what lay beneath their feet. They turned limestone into streets, stairways, water channels, even rooftops. Every block hand-cut. Hidden in these alleys is a lesson of endurance in a land of wind and rock. The Karst Ethnological House is part museum, part time machine. From smoke-blackened kitchen to everyday items and rainwater cisterns, it reflects the self-sufficiency and resourcefulness of karst people. Stone also had to defend. Its towers and the medieval castle once shielded Štanjel from Ottoman raids. Today, the castle is the village's main landmark and visitor point, home to exhibitions and a museum. Inside, you discover more about this unique land. Feel the brisk coolness of the Bora wind, trace centuries-old water systems carved into stone, and even smell the herbal plants that still flavor karst cuisine. It also holds works by Lojze Spacal, Štanjel's own son and one of Slovenia's most celebrated artists. The stone also served for spiritual purposes, as above the village rises the Church of Saint Daniel, crowned with a rare lemon-shaped dome, has watched over the village since the 1400s. But Štanjel's greatest surprise is hidden just below the village: the Ferrari Garden. Designed in the 1920s by the architect Max Fabiani for a Trieste doctor seeking clean karst air for his patients. It transformed rocky slopes into terraced gardens that blend traditional karst stone walls, water features, pergolas, and stunning views of the surrounding karst. And beyond these terraces, the land holds another secret, one you can taste. Here, the harsh Bora wind, dry climate, and sun-baked stone walls shaped one of Europe's most unique wine-growing environments. The wines grow from terra rossa, striking red soil rich in iron and minerals. In places, roots cling directly to limestone, forced to dig deep, to adapt, to struggle. That struggle concentrates the flavors, giving the wine its edge, producing Teran, a bold red grown only here and cherished for centuries. In small, family-run cellars like Vinska Klet Stoka, winemaking still follows the rhythm of the land. Grapes are hand-picked, fermented in stone tanks and oak barrels, and aged in cellars dug straight into the limestone. The result is a wine that's bold, sharp, dark, and wild. In the glass, Teran shimmers with deep ruby colors, almost violet at the edges, and it doesn't taste like anything else. And here, in the Karst, there is one pairing that locals swear by: Teran with Kras Prosciutto. The wine's bright acidity cuts through the prosciutto's silky richness, while its earthy, mineral flavors match the ham's savory, wind-cured taste. Together, they taste like this land itself: iron, stone, wind, and time. But the greatest secret of this land isn't in its vineyards or hilltop villages. It lies deep beneath them, a hidden world sculpted by water and time. At Škocjan Caves, the Reka River vanishes into the earth and becomes part of one of the largest underground river canyons on the planet, a place so unique it gave its name to the entire branch of science. The word karst is now used worldwide to describe landscapes like the one I'm about to show you. And as nature's ultimate collaboration of water, stone, and time, UNESCO declared Škocjan's entire ecosystem a World Heritage Site. You can only enter on a guided tour, about 3 to 4 kilometers long, lasting 90 minutes. To protect this fragile world, filming is normally not allowed, but I managed to secure special permission. Inside, stalactites hang like stone chandeliers. Stalagmites rise like ancient sentinels. You step into vast, echoing chambers, hear the roar of the river far below, and then the highlight: a narrow bridge suspended 45 meters above the canyon floor, with water thundering through the darkness beneath you. It's 150 meters deep and absolutely unforgettable. But once you return to daylight, the adventure isn't over. Škocjan Caves Park is more than a cave. It's an open-air classroom, a cultural time capsule, and a protected nature reserve. A loop trail winds past dramatic viewpoints, sinkholes, and dry valleys, showing exactly how the karst works. You'll see disappearing rivers, unique wildlife, and ancient rainwater systems carved into stone by people who had no other water source. There are museums and exhibitions that reveal the story of cave exploration and the unique karst ecosystem. Restored farmhouses open a window into the past, like Jakobin's barn, home to an ethnological collection. Nearby, the villages of Škocjan and Matavun still hold onto a slower rhythm, with dry stone walls and rainwater cisterns that carry the stories of centuries. But the karst isn't just stone and wind. It's also a place of elegance, grace, and a bond between humans and animals unlike anywhere else in Europe. In the quiet meadows of Lipica, the Habsburgs, the powerful Austrian dynasty that once ruled half of Europe, founded a dream: to create the perfect horse for classical dressage and imperial parades. For more than 440 years, the snow-white stallions have carried the bloodlines of emperors and the Spanish riding school of Vienna. Today, Lipica is one of the oldest stud farms in Europe and a living monument to how the karst was transformed from barren rock to lush pastures and oak-lined avenues. Every morning, the herd heads out to pasture, and every afternoon they return, a timeless ritual unchanged for centuries. You can visit the historic stables, where the pedigrees of every Lipizzaner are still recorded by hand. In the Naboriaci complex, white mares raise their dark foals in a sunlit courtyard. Nearby stands the chapel of Saint Anthony of Padua, guardian of horses, a reminder of the faith that once watched over the herd. To discover their full story, step inside the Lipica Museum, from the farm's 16th century beginnings to the dramatic World War II rescue when the breed came dangerously close to extinction. And if you're here between June and September, the Lipica riding school performs on Tuesdays, Fridays and Sundays at 3 p.m. a showcase of classical dressage, a living link to an imperial past still dancing in the meadows of the Karst. But even Lipica's serene meadows, home to centuries of elegance, couldn't escape history. In the World War I, they found themselves on the edge of one of the conflict's most brutal front lines, the Isonzo front. This is one of many First World War trenches cut right into the Karst stone. From 1915 to 1917, the Karst became a brutal battlefield. Here, the Kingdom of Italy and the Austro-Hungarian Empire, Lipica's own patrons, fought through 12 Isonzo battles. Entire hills were blasted into rubble. The Karst underground, with its labyrinth of caves, became barracks, storage depots, even field hospitals for the exhausted and wounded. One of the fiercest battles took place at Doberdò del Lago, just beyond Lipica's pastures in today's Italy. At its heart stands the San Michele Memorial Museum, one of the most striking open-air museums of the Great War. Instead of dusty displays, the museum draws you in with immersive digital experiences, virtual reality, and interactive maps that reveal the dramatic story of the Isonzo front. Outside, preserved trenches, tunnels, lookouts, and bunkers show how soldiers fought in suffocating heat, freezing winds, and in trenches cut straight into the limestone. They are linked by walking paths, each marked with the stories of battles, tactics, and the soldiers who endured them. The scars are still here on both the Slovenian and Italian sides, but now those old front lines connect rather than divide. On the Slovenian edge of the Karst plateau rises a 7-story stone tower, the Cerje peace monument, built to honor the defenders of this land. Its architecture is rich in symbolism, with art that reflects the long Slovenian struggle for independence. Inside, most of the exhibits focus on the Karst during World War I and the turbulent years that followed when the region was annexed to Italy. Climb to the top, and you are rewarded with sweeping views that stretch from the Alps to the Adriatic, a powerful reminder of the peace this land fought so hard to achieve. So next time you hear the word Karst in a textbook or documentary, you'll know. Karst is not just a scientific term, it's a story, a landscape, a lasting harmony between resilient people and rugged land shaped by Venetian deforestation, white imperial horses, fierce bore winds, and the trenches of the Isonzo front. It's a kind of beauty and strength carved over centuries and found nowhere else. To the south lies the shimmering Adriatic coast, to the north the emerald waters of the Cerje river, and just a stone's throw away the fascinating twin cities of Gorizia and Nova Gorica, divided by history and the Cold War. Their story of barbed wire, spies, and smuggling will blow your mind, and you can watch it right here.